Hi everyone, I'm
Hi,
Dr. Yasapa.
and my name is David.
Okay, so David, what are we going to do today?
And today we're going to have an IELTS speaking practice with each other.
Okay, cool. So do you have your questions ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Okay, so here we go. First question. What is your country famous for? What is your country famous for?
Back home in Vietnam, we are most famous for our cuisine, hospitality, and the beautiful landscapes. And in general, Vietnamese are famous for making food with a large variety of ingredients, and plus the key factor that makes the food so special is the freshness in everything we use, like the herbs, the meats, and also the vegetable. And another thing is the Vietnamese hospitality, especially towards the foreigners, because believe me, if you're in Vietnam and get lost, just simply ask for help. And some of us are so friendly that if you need a ride, they could even offer you a free ride to your destination.
Oh.
And in my opinion, Vietnam is most famous for its breathtaking scenery. Like if you want to blow up some steam, the best way to do is to go on a trip and experience it all by yourself. And like to sum up, Vietnamese are reputable for for our foods, our friendliness, and also our sceneries.
Excellent. That was an excellent answer.
Yeah.
Excellent. That was an excellent answer, actually perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Okay, all right. So, you said that the cuisine,
Yeah.
Vietnam is famous for its cuisine.
Yeah.
So in Vietnam, who usually cooks it?
Well, let's see. In Vietnam, we are a home-oriented country.
Yes.
It means that the people like our mom, the mother, or like even the father, like they really know how to cook, and the cooking is really good actually.
Really?
Yeah, and like let me take an example. For example, pho. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. When you look into the bowl, you can see that the broth, like the scallion and the beef, and you will see that it's kind of simple, right? But behind the broth, it's kind of a procedure, like a bunch of ingredients, including I mean anything, almost every kinds of like peppers or like onions, even onions. Like they don't even use onion to eat; they use onions to cook, and yeah, and other kinds of. I don't know what's the name of those ingredients, but I gotta say that a lot, like
Okay.
more than 10.
Really?
More than 10 to create one pot of broth.
Wow.
Yeah, and even when it comes to the beef, they need to choose the right body part of that cow.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's more popular or more common? Beef, pork, fish, or chicken?
Like for pho.
Just Vietnamese cuisine. What do you guys use most?
Let me see. It must be the pork.
Mostly pork.
Pork and beef.
Pork and beef.
Yeah, but somehow in other kinds of meats like the duck. Do you know how meat ducks
Yeah.
duck meat taste?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will usually comes with a really a little bit irritating taste, right? Like the smell. Yeah, and we even got a way how to remove those tastes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
we would use the ginger and also some kind of roots, like the onion roots. Yeah, and we use that to remove the taste.
Yeah. You know what we call that? We call it a wild taste.
Yeah,
That's how we call it. That
a wild taste.
A wild taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ginger and the
Ginger. Like you know the scallion, like it has roots,
yeah,
and they use it.
and it removes the wild taste. Wow, that's amazing.
So,
Wow, I learned something. I'm gonna try it.
let's see. Oh, it's not a root. Of the scallion, it's some kind of. Do you know the things that people put in a banh mi, like the herb? the long haul.
I have no idea. But I have some other questions. I'm
Sure.
curious.
All
I'm
right.
curious about Vietnam. So you talked about hospitality.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about hospitality in Vietnam?
Yeah, because among other countries, the tourists they love traveling to Vietnam because they can see that somehow we treat the foreigners like specially.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you go on the streets and you lost something, no one is going to steal it.
Ah.
They try to return it to you.
Can I tell you an experience I had?
Yeah.
So listen, everyone. I went to Circle K
Circle K.
just to use the ATM,
Yeah.
and I forgot my phone on the ATM. I came back 30 minutes later.
No one stole it.
No one stole my phone.
The opposite thing would happen in India.
Yeah, and yes, and my phone was on the ATM machine,
Yeah.
and no one stole it.
Actually, that's not the case. You just got lucky.
I just got lucky.
I mean, like in the past, when our country used to be poor, and when foreigners come here, and there are lots of like pickpockets.
Oh really?
Pickpockets.
But they were desperate to survive.
Yeah, and
Ah.
somehow now they no longer do that anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
they've
great.
developed that, and even the police. Maybe their image in the Vietnamese are not good at all, but somehow they did their work with the criminals so very well that like the criminal rates in Vietnam is decreasing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. But I know from my personal experience, Vietnamese people are very hospitable.
yeah,
Very more. Actually, that's one of the reasons I came back.
Yeah.
So I came back to Vietnam. You know, guys, I left and then I came back. The reason why I came back was for the food and for the hospitality. That's the truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a YouTube channel of a man whose name was let's see, Bisco.
Yeah.
Bisco, and he was a traveler, and he would travel from the north side of Vietnam to the south side, to the southern side of Vietnam, and during his trip, he got so many experiences about how people treat him. Like even they could even offer him free foods.
Really?
Yeah, like he would eat only eggs. Yeah, and whenever people recognize him, they'll try to like buy him some eggs and give him for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. I've had so many good experiences, so many good times eating food, and unexpected good times. Like I would stop into a restaurant
Yeah.
and just say, "Can you order something for me?" You know, I don't eat seafood and I don't eat pork. And they come out with something very delicious.
And what was that?
I don't know. I just eat it. I can't pronounce it.
Can you describe it?
So some like chicken, but it's torn.
Torn.
It's shredded, and it has vegetables and a side of radish, carrots, and in the chicken there's it's chicken, rice, with maybe some type of lettuce,
Lettuce.
and yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's kind of strange because in Vietnam we don't usually eat rice with lettuce.
Really? No, this has lettuce, chicken,
Like the lettuce usually comes with noodles or the rice noodles.
no, this is rice. And there's some type of sauce
Sauce.
that they gave me.
It's kind of weird.
It was delicious. Yeah, it was delicious. So
Stupid.
I go there whenever I pass that place, I go eat. Yeah, but the people here, my experience, if I go into a restaurant, I don't know anything, I Google Translate, and they bring me out some food, and I love the food. I love the food, and then Vietnam has a coffee.
Yeah.
You only get this coffee in Vietnam. It has a chocolate taste. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that coffee. And when I left Vietnam, I went to Mexico
Mexico.
for 9 months. for 9 months. I thought I would like the food, but I like Vietnamese food more.
So how was the Mexican foods?
Terrible. Deep fried. Yeah, everything is fried. And everything is chili, but like extreme.
Hey, that's the same cuisine as the Chinese.
Really?
Because in Chinese, I have a course about studying Chinese, and like the teachers, she was a student that used to study in China.
Yeah.
And she shared that food in China is really, really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some kind of, and even most of the foods, it will be super oily.
Same as in Mexico.
Yeah, like you can see like the grease or the oil, like just
Yeah, it's the same way.
when it's cooking up.
Same way. So I couldn't stay in Mexico because the food was just so awful.
Yeah.
So I went to India thinking the food would be better. The food was horrible. It was horrible. It's, you know, like in my country, you buy Indian food. It's not the Indian food that you get in India.
We adjust the taste. Vietnam, we try to adjust the taste of the food that we eat.
Oh no, these are Indian people
Indian people.
cooking food in Vietnam.
Yeah.
It's not the same. But when you go to India, the
Yeah.
country, they're not using the same spice. You know what they told me?
Yeah.
They told me, so I asked, I said, why does the food in India taste terrible compared to Indian food in the US, Indian food in Vietnam, Indian food in any other country? I'm in India. The food is terrible. You know what they told me?
You know why? Because different countries have different taste.
No, that's not what, yeah, you're right, but that's not their answer. You know what they told me? They said because the spices, the spices that India is famous for are export items. He said they're export items. He said that the people in India can't afford them.
So they'll keep the some kind of inferior, right? Yeah. So the Indian would keep the inferior.
Yes, they keep the inferior. I was shocked, but then I felt sad. You know, because they can't enjoy like the product of India.
Yeah, they can't enjoy the product that they made.
You know, it's very sad. So, and then I kept getting sick. So after like 4 months in India, I said, I'm coming back to Vietnam.
I gotta leave.
So I went back to Vietnam.
I need to leave.
So I have to be in a place where I love the cuisine.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the hospitality. But for me personally, the other reason I came back is I like traditional Vietnamese music. I like that. You know, but it gets on my nerve if they play it first thing in the morning, karaoke. You know, like
Start from 7 a.m.
7 a.m. I got 2 neighbors. 7 a.m. karaoke or 7 p.m.
One on your left ear, one on your right ear.
But if it's, you know, if it's not in the morning or in the evening, I love the traditional music. But those are the three, for me, the 3 things that I love about Vietnam. What Vietnam is famous for, you know, in my mind. You know?
I mean, so I have nothing to say about that because I gotta admit that even Vietnamese like us, we really hate the habit for like listening to music or singing of our people, even our people.
In the morning or just any time?
Every time.
Ah.
Every single time. And some I can't believe that some people even spend the whole night just to sing.
Yes,
While other
karaoke.
people are sleeping.
Yeah. You know, I teach a class on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't hear because two people karaoke. And I close my windows, close the doors, you know, turn on my aircon and try to teach my class, but I can't hear.
I know that what you were trying to say is that pre-show.
Okay, so
All right.
do you want to go to the next question or continue?
Maybe, like, to be honest, I'm kind of like this conversation. So maybe we should try to make something random, like a random question, just like what we did.
Okay.
Just like what we're doing.
Okay, so another random question?
That would be more funny.
Okay, let me see. Let's talk about landscapes.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
In your opinion, what are the 2 or 3 most beautiful landscapes in Vietnam?
Well, in my personal rank, it will be the first one. The number one will be let's see, my hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Vĩnh Long province. Yeah, and when you travel to there, you'll see lots of rice fields, like a lot, like
Really?
endless,
Yeah.
endless rice fields, and even it's a western part. It's in the western part of Vietnam. Yeah, and people there, they're famous for their agriculture.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, not only the rice, but also the fruits.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
the
What kind of
tropical
fruit?
fruits. A lot, like the pomelo. Do you know pomelo?
Yeah.
Pomelo. Right?
Pomegranate, the like red, orange pomegranate?
No, they look like the oranges, but the tastes are different.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know that fruit.
You
Yeah.
should try that one
Really?
because there are various kinds of pomelo around. Like in Vietnam, there are even more than 5.
Really?
And the best type of it is in Vietnam.
Yeah, is it expensive or inexpensive?
No, it's really inexpensive.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. And it looks like an orange.
yeah. The best thing about Vietnam is that you can afford vegetables and fruits with a very cheap price.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other reason I came back. I almost forgot. You know, when I went to Mexico, you can't buy as easily fruit and vegetable anywhere.
Yeah,
You have to go to a store. But in Vietnam,
we got a traditional market.
yeah, in Vietnam you have the traditional markets, and then you have the guys who have a cart and a motorcycle, right? And you can buy a mango, for example, mango season.
The sweetest fruit, the sweetest fruit around the world.
Yes, mango season is amazing in Vietnam because they'll have these women and men, right? And they'll have a motorcycle or something. What do you call it? Like a cart on the back?
We don't have that word.
Really?
We just call it a car. In Vietnam, we have a word "xe," right?
Yeah.
It means car, and we use that for almost everything that could run by motor.
Yeah, and then it's full. It's stacked with mango. You can get yellow mango, green mango. They're huge.
Yeah, and even we got a different ways to eat the mango
Really?
depending on how it's ripe.
Ah.
You see, the green we can eat it with the salt,
Yeah.
even like the fish sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had it with fish sauce and some salt, some
sugar.
Some sugar. Yeah, I had that before.
Yeah, and we also have the mắm, like the fermented sauce. Do you know the shrimp paste?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar to a shrimp paste, but it's made up of the smaller kinds of shrimp.
Yeah, but there's another one with chili and salt. What's that one called?
We call that just chili salt.
That one you eat with the green mango, right?
Yeah, and when it comes to the yellow one, just eat it.
Yeah.
You
So
won't need anything to dip it in.
yeah, and then pineapple. When it's pineapple season. Oh my gosh.
Like you can buy a dozen of it. I mean, less than 100 Vietnam dong.
Yeah. And then of course there's jackfruit. There's we call it durian.
Can you eat durian?
It's very difficult.
Most foreigners find durians like
Disgusting.
you say that.
But I like it, but it's very difficult because of the smell.
Yeah, and I doubt that the Asian got some kind of different smell. I don't know, like we smell things differently from the Westerners.
Yeah. Like fish sauce. Like
Yeah, fish
usually
sauce.
Westerners hate fish sauce because of the way it
Durian,
smells.
we say that it's good. It's like, I mean, we can't say anything about it but like it. But when it comes to the foreigners, they will like.
So David, for the foreigner, your nose is telling you pick up the durian, your nose says no.
But your mouth said yes.
But your mouth says yes. So what do you do? So you're so you get all of these for a foreigner.
Yeah.
You get all of access is the word. You have access to all of these amazing fruits and vegetables on the street.
Yeah.
On the street, like if I go for a walk at 5 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah.
the sellers are outside selling food.
Oh, that's the time when you could get the food with it in its best condition.
Really?
Yeah. We also have a term for that because it's we call chợ đêm. It's a market
How
that
do you say
open.
that? Jordan.
Chợ đêm.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's a market that open from the night
Yeah.
to the morning of the upcoming morning, the day.
Uh-huh.
Like during that time, they will sell the foods with the highest freshness and also the cheapest price.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
So the best time is to go is before I go to work.
and those who sell those things, they are kinds of small scale distributor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like they would take those vegetables, those meats
Yeah.
from the people who make those things,
Yeah.
and they try to get it to the market and sell those things to the smaller one who sell them.
Yeah.
So they're a kind of distributor.
Okay.
Yeah, they're selling with a cheap price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I went to Mexico, they didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I had to go grocery shopping at big stores.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. You know, you can tell the difference in the quality of the fruit and vegetables and the taste. So I was forced for the first time in years to shop at a big corporate grocery store, and I was very dissatisfied with it. But I was able to find a few places where you could find fruit and vegetables fresh off, but it was very difficult. So I didn't like that about Mexico. So that was another reason why I left Mexico. So I went to India thinking it would be better. India does not have access to fresh fruit and vegetable on the streets. And in Vietnam, food is everywhere.
Yeah.
Food is everywhere. And you only need to go outside.
But
You know?
except the holidays.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of surprising that during the normal days you will see a lot of food on the street, but when it comes to the holidays, everything disappears.
Yeah.
Like
no
everybody
people.
would travel to the homeland and to the hometown, and then we spend half of the month to celebrate and then go back. And during that half of the month, there'll be no food to eat.
Yeah, actually, you know, for me as a foreigner, you know the worst time of the year for me? No, I think for all foreigners, Tet.
Yeah.
Tet holiday.
You couldn't buy anything during Tet.
You can't do anything, everybody's gone. There's no sellers, no friends. It's like Ho Chi Minh City shuts down.
The only place to get food during Tet is going to the supermarket.
Yeah. And I think nobody, well, let me speak for myself. I don't really want to buy food at the supermarket. You know? I prefer to get the fruit and vegetable from the local sellers on the street. It tastes better. Do you think so?
I agree.
Yeah. So, but man, and I was so shocked because India has this reputation for food. Delicious food, you know, kind of like being the bread basket of Asia. And I went there and it's not true. It's not true. And then I realized, I said, oh, life is really good in Vietnam. You know, you have freedom, the hospitality, even the police, they don't bother you.
That's only happened to the foreigners.
Oh, only for the foreigners? Okay. Okay. But here, the hospitality is so good. Food, so much variety. You know, I'll tell you another thing.
What is it?
As a foreigner,
Yeah.
like if you eat dinner with a family,
Yeah.
boys, girls, men, women, the women will, like, do you know the things that they roll? Like they put vegetables in it, and then they
the
roll
rice
it.
paper.
Yeah, the women do that for you.
We usually do that by ourselves.
But I don't know how.
That's the reason.
Yeah,
I forgot that one.
So they prepare it. Yeah, and
Especially
nobody,
when you go to the restaurant.
yes,
They would do that. They would do everything for you.
yeah. But you know, I've tried it.
Yeah.
And I destroyed it because I tried to do it and I can't eat it.
That's one skill that most Vietnamese need to learn when they grow up, because like in a feast, there'll be several kinds of ingredient like the cucumbers, the meat, and like the lettuce, and even some kind of bean sprouts. And as an adult, we need to do that all by ourselves. We cannot depend on anyone else.
Really?
Yeah. If you're young, like the teenagers or the kids, the adults, the other adults will do that for you. But when you grow up, no one will do it for you.
Wow. They do it for me. They do it. They do it for me. So I feel kind of special because it's hard to believe that people would be so hospitable.
Yeah.
And help you like that, you know, and nobody gets angry. Like I remember there's one family, husband, wife, 2 children, and the wife is rolling my food. The husband didn't get mad. That happened to me like a couple times when I went to dinner. The husband didn't get jealous, didn't get mad.
I mean, even I agree about that, because there's nothing to be jealous with.
Really? Yeah. See, that's a beautiful thing about Vietnam.
Because she just simply helps someone else.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with it.
But in America, if the wife does that, it's gonna be trouble, big trouble.
Yeah.
If an American woman does that.
Because we think that the only thing that crossed the line between that wife with another man will be like touching or something,
touching,
like
yeah.
you know, the affection.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But when it comes to she helps someone else, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It just barely help.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, but those are the things I love about Vietnam, and actually that's why I came back, because in Vietnam, for me, life is better in Vietnam than any other country. And that's why I stayed here. The people, I mean, of course, not all people, but most people are very good to me. You know, like if I need directions, if I don't know what to order, you know,
someone will help you.
Someone helps me, yeah. Or, but you know what I do? What I do?
Yeah.
Like if I have a Grab driver, B driver, if it's a woman, I usually give her a good tip.
Yeah.
you know, I usually give the
I mean, they deserve it.
yeah, they deserve it. Yeah.
Because when comparing between the man and the women when doing some driver work, they
Yeah.
have to work harder.
Yeah.
Because it will take them more effort to control a motorbike, and
Yeah.
also to carry someone who is like heavier than them.
Yeah.
Even for the Vietnamese man, if we see someone that a woman that drive a car or a motorbike, we try to ride for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some kind of a norm. Like if my mom wants to go somewhere, I'll try to take her to there.
Ah,
Yeah.
really? Yeah. But that's special about Vietnam.
Yeah.
But you know, the other thing, man, I just had I just forgot my thought. It'll come back to me. But when if I have like I said, if it's a woman, I always give a really good tip because I know I'm a big guy in Vietnam, so I give a good tip.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a little thing, you know, but I try to show that I appreciate being in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know, and even I don't really know. Like as a foreigner, life is well for me. Life is so good here. I try to make sure that when I can, I give something back. You know.
Like take it and then share it.
Yeah, yeah. Because Vietnam has been very good to me. You know. Can you turn the screen on? What was the?
Where do you live in your country?
Oh, we were talking about. You know what we were talking about landscape, and then we kind of got. So you named one. So can you name one or two?
I would say landscape. Maybe the second one will be. I haven't traveled to the northern side of Vietnam yet, but so maybe I'll only mention about the western parts. Maybe it will be Long An province. It's next. It's next to the Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, and it also has the rice field, but it's more famous in the product that are made from the rice. Yeah, I mean, we got so many kinds of rice. Like there'll be, I don't know, more than 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Different kinds of rice with different kinds of texture, taste, and and even how you cook it.
Really?
Yeah. So, for example, in Long An province, there will be a type of rice. My father really likes it. Yeah. And it will be a little bit like, do you know the word? Soft.
Oh,
and soft and some
Fluffy.
Fluffy like
Like a pillow.
Yeah, fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will use less water than usual to cook it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and even some other kinds, people will love to eat it like when it's dry. Some Vietnamese will love wet, like eating rice that are wet and fluffy.
Yeah.
And while other ones they will love like the dry rice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There'll be two types of eating it, and it'll be a large variety of rice.
So which kind do you like? Which way do you like?
And let's see, fluffy, a little bit fluffy and soft.
Really? That's how you like it? Fluffy and soft?
Sometimes I find if it's too dry, it will be really hard to swallow, especially when you eat it with the foods.
Yeah. But what about local drinks?
Drinks,
Yeah.
wine.
Oh, so
We are famous for our wine because that's one rule for making wine. Homemade wine.
really? Wow.
It's not too difficult because there will be a big jar.
You know what?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. I won't make it. Only the middle-aged people or the elderly will drink those wines. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. A big jar they'll put inside like the white wine
Yeah.
that is made from the rice,
Yes.
and they'll put some kind of even animal.
Oh, I've seen that, like a snake or a lizard.
Snakes, lizards, or like see even some kind of insects.
Really? What does that do? Or
It
just make it look good, or?
helps you to do better in.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's
I
one
got it.
good point of it, and also to increase your health.
Okay.
But
How long do you have to let it sit?
I don't know, maybe more than a month.
More than a month.
Yeah. It takes some time.
Yeah.
And even people can put herbs or even like it's like some kind of trees,
Oh, yeah.
plants, and
Yeah.
put it in a jar.
Okay.
That works the same way as the animals.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I with my friend years ago, I went to visit my friend's parents with them, and they pulled a jar out of what you're talking about. It was on Tet holiday. The uncle came over. He was an older guy, right? He came over and he pulled this jar, and they started drinking it.
And what did they use to make that wine?
I didn't ask. I just watched. I just watched it.
Sometimes.
But it was very strong because I could smell it.
I won't use those wines. First, I don't want to get drunk. Second, when you know about like how foods are made, somehow you feel no longer want to use it anymore.
Do you think you feel like that because you've been in Ho Chi Minh City so long?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I've spent like more than 5 years of my childhood living in the countryside, and I've seen a lot of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So my grandparents, he used to have a snake,
Yeah.
and he would put in that to make his wine, and he left that on a shelf,
Yeah.
and I can see it almost every day, and
Wow.
somehow I get used to it. That's it.
So you look at the snake every day?
Yeah, and when every time I walk by,
Yeah.
I'll see it, and it's just normal. I just don't drink it. I don't drink it. I don't drink it, but I just feel normal about it.
Yeah.
It's nothing with it. But I would definitely not going to drink that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a question for you. If you have, let's say, a foreign friend, let's say from Germany or UK,
Yeah.
Canada, let's say you met online, and they're searching for a place to go backpacking for their next vacation. Would you recommend Vietnam, and if so, why? And then what would you recommend they do?
Well, if I have a friend like that, because they are all Europeans, right?
Yeah.
They're British and the German. So maybe I will lead them to the northern side of Vietnam, because the weather in the northern side of Vietnam will be suitable for them the most. It's kind of similar, but not too cold. And also the town is the food, because in Vietnam there are two parts in Vietnam, the northern and southern, and the southern will usually eat the foods and it tastes a little bit stronger than the northern. And you know how foods are in those European countries, right? They're kind of plain.
Yeah.
So if I head them to those kind of provinces on the north, it would be suitable for them the most. Yeah, and it would be much easier for them to adapt.
What about the hospitality in the north?
I have no idea. I've never been there.
Have you heard?
Yes, but even only between Vietnamese and Vietnamese, but how they feel about the foreigners, I don't know.
So I can tell you what foreigners have told me.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, sure.
So foreigners have told me that if you go to the north, they're not as hospitable as they are in Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City, from what I've been told, the local people or the Vietnamese people are more hospitable than in the north.
Oh, we are different from the northern people in manners. Manners.
Okay.
Like even when we have the meal, there'll be different manners between
Really?
the southern people and the northern.
Ah.
Like let's see, just imagine you're a son of a northern people family,
Yeah.
right? And when you enter the table, you need to like wait for other people to eat first, and also to say like greeting, or like say something like how Japanese say itadakimasu, you know that word?
No.
Like just some kind of showing respect to other people, and let them eat first, and then you can eat.
That's in the north.
Yeah, and in southern, like we also have a manners about that, but somehow it's just everything is so simple and relaxing.
Yeah, you know what really touched me about eating?
Yeah.
So I went to my friend's hometown, and they took me to a farm. And at lunchtime, all the women went, they got vegetables from the garden. I think 2 women went to the lake or whatever, you know, the big body of water. I don't know if it was a lake or a river.
Maybe it's a pond.
Oh, it was a pond. They put the fishing rod in. 5 minutes later, only 5 minutes, they had these 2 huge fish. Huge.
It's kind of difficult to say because if you travel to a western part of Vietnam and you see that people can fish from a pond, that pond is used as a toilet.
Oh, I hope it wasn't a toilet. This place had mountains, big hills. This farm, big hills. And then there was a body of water, but I didn't know where it stopped. Where it stopped, and where, I couldn't tell.
Let's show you something.
So check this out. Students, not students, but everyone, check this out means listen, pay attention. So they got the food, and then someone said, do you like sugar cane?
Yeah.
So I didn't know sugar cane. I never saw sugar cane in the garden. So I said, I don't know, what is it? So they had a big, we call it a machete.
Machete.
Yeah. So
They will cut it for you.
Yeah, they came and gave me like
They chop it down.
Yeah, raw sugar cane. I had never saw raw sugar cane.
Yeah.
So they gave it to me, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do with this, right? So she showed me the old lady. It's an old lady too. Go and chop it, right? And I'm like, wow, strong, so strong. She's old, and I'm like super impressed. So she told me, bite it. Man, I bit it, and it was like I couldn't. My teeth could not handle.
It's too hot?
No, my teeth were not strong enough.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do this, right? But then over time, I started drinking sugarcane juice. Now I can bite it. The sugarcane juice makes your teeth very strong. Yeah. So now I can bite it. I can eat the whole thing, no problem. But then I couldn't do it. I could not do it. But I can do it because I started drinking sugarcane juice. Now my teeth are very strong. So they got the food, all the women. They got the food, they cooked it, the men didn't do anything. I was shocked. The men didn't do anything. So all of the women prepare their food, and I'm just watching. You know, I'm amazed, right? And then now we're on a farm, so they're very, very poor. So we go into like a little house or something, and then they put I think, what is it? Some type of carpet on the floor. What's that called?
A mat.
Yeah, they put a mat on the floor. And then the women brought all the food. They cooked everything. It's a mat full of food. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. I'm like, wow, how did they do that, right? And so this is when I first came. This is like 2019. So we sit down on the mat, and it's very difficult for me to sit down on the mat because I never sat down. I never sat down to eat, you know? And then the women served the food. It was the most incredible thing, man, I've ever seen. And I enjoyed it so much that I want to do it again.
Anyway, can I talk to you about this?
Okay, sure.
I have some work to go, and maybe can we stop now?
Okay, sure.
How?
You should talk to the
Alright.
yeah.
Sure.
Whatever you were gonna tell me.
Alright.
So we're gonna, yeah.
So, apologize everyone. I'm going to have some work to do, and maybe we need to stop this lesson now. So see you next week, right?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week. Me and Dr. Yosaba is going to have a conversation about this, and we try to continue our conversation.
Yeah, and as we get more experience using the live streams, our conversations will become better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so thanks everyone for watching.
Goodbye.
See you guys next time. Okay, so don't let me see.